Hi, I'm Jay, EscobarJ.com. Today's video is going to be, can relationships get boring? And if you haven't checked out my first two videos on this topic, be sure to check the description for links to those videos. Last video I talked about being complacent, and I gave you shared five different things that you can do to snap your relationship out of complacency. So be sure to check that video out. Like I said, I'll post it down in the description. Today, we're going to be talking about ebbs and flows. So here's the thing. There's natural peaks and valleys to a relationship. I'm sure you know that if you've been in a relationship, it just happens. It's just because things seem to be in a valley doesn't necessarily mean that your relationship is permanently boring or you need to do anything radical to change it or move on from your relationship. But also the contrary may be true too. Maybe it is a sign that you need to move on. And there's things that you can do and questions you can ask yourself to determine that. But of course, from the get-go, you should be doing the things you need to be doing to make sure that you're taking care of your side of the relationship or doing what you need to be doing. For example, if you're the masculine role in the relationship, you should be focusing on planning dates. You should be concerned with the direction of the relationship or the family. You should be focusing on your mission and purpose and accomplishing, can't talk today, hitting your goals, right? That's masculine energy. And if you're the feminine role in the relationship, you should be focused on opening up to receive love, connection, bonding, giving, etc. But here's the thing, just like life, you can't go throughout life without going through natural ups and downs. Sometimes life throws you curveballs and there's just nothing that you can do about that. And life is rarely ever just a flat line or a plateau for long periods of time. Life constantly gives you obstacles, roadblocks, challenge, but also as well as success, great times, and genuine fulfillment. So if your relationship seems like it's at a boring point or you're in some sort of funk, start asking yourself the types of questions to help you determine good quality questions that help you determine, hey, is this behavior, is this something that's just like we're just on a rough patch right now and normally things are great? Or is this type of behavior, has this been going on for a while and maybe I should seriously consider either moving on or doing something different? And those types of questions, if you ask yourself high quality questions, that will get you to the type of answer that will help you make the best decision for your relationship moving forward. So ultimately, relationships have natural ebbs and flows because life has natural ebbs and flows. And regardless if you're in a relationship or not, I mean, if you weren't in a relationship, you're still going to go through ups and downs. So the fact that you're in a relationship with somebody else just creates more ups and downs because now you're dealing with two people instead of just one person. So you have to keep that in mind when you're talking about getting boring in a relationship. It's kind of part of a relationship, but that doesn't necessarily mean here nor there. It doesn't necessarily mean that you should stay in the relationship or you should make radical changes or you should do something to spice things up, but it also may mean that you do need to do those things. It's all about gauging where you're at and looking at the past, looking at your track record, and then looking about where the direction and where the relationship seems to be going. If it seems to be flatlining, then you may want to, consider moving on or more options. You may want to consider some different alternatives. That being said, it doesn't necessarily mean that you should do that either. So I know that sounds a little confusing, but just understand that sometimes in relationships, it's about persisting through those natural ebbs and flows because you get more fulfillment in the long term versus just always finding short-term relationships. And as soon as the things go bad or things are in a valley, you just up and leave. So there's two sides to it. And you have to gauge that for your own relationship. And again, like I mentioned, if you do feel like you're in a rut in your relationship, or if you're complacent, check out my last video. I shared with you 5 tips, 5 things that you can do. It's the complacency video. So I shared 5 different things that you can do that will pretty much immediately snap you out of your complacency in your relationship and help spice things up and keep things interesting and moving in the right direction. So that being said, if you like this video, you like this content, you like this series of videos so far, please give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell icon so you never miss any time I release a new video. And if you'd like to get my help with this topic on relationships, you can visit my website. You can book a coaching session. That's the quickest way to get a hold of me at escobarj.com. If you know anybody who could use this information, I'm sure you know plenty of people who are in a toxic relationship, or maybe who are in a good relationship but just are in a bad point at the time, or going through some difficulty. Share this. That is my purpose, is to help millions and millions of people across the world self-improve, self-actualize, become the best versions of themselves and in their relationships. That being said, I hope you're always learning, always growing, and always pushing forward. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.